restaurants and what is specific to McDonald's restaurants and what happens in the analysis of waste management in McDonald's restaurants in Regina. Then we would also go through the corporate innovations and other scope of improvement that the restaurants can adopt. So basically, if we have, if we actually look into the common restaurant waste, we can find that it mostly consists of paper, cardboard, plastics, wood, food waste, glass, metals, and such kind of waste, in which the 50 to 70% of the size, the weight comes from food waste, and the size, the volume is accounted by the packaging materials. So if you actually just have a quick look in this, you will find that you don't find much of a recycle, much of a waste that must go to landfill. So now if you come specific to McDonald's, we have to understand that they are one among the largest contributors of solid waste, because they are one of the leading chain restaurants. And also we should understand that a higher percentage of the waste produced in these restaurants, they are recyclable or compostable. And what are the three main sources of these waste in a McDonald's restaurant? Basically, McDonald's setup, it has a central food processing depot, they have the transportation to the stores, and then they have these restaurants. So in each of these ways, they have some kind of waste production and some kind of waste management. Now let's have a quick look on the composition of these food waste in McDonald's restaurants. Main focus is on restaurants. So what you see is food waste. Of course, yeah, we do have food wasted by customers. And we have packaging materials. We also have straws, which are of plastic. Then we have trays, which are made of paper. Then we have the product containers. Basically, now we came to know that they are shifting mostly into a corn-based bioplastic, which is easily biodegradable. Now we also have cups. There again, they have a kind of innovation in which they're using clarified polypropylene, less material. Clarified polypropylene, the advantage is that it actually takes less amount of material than required per cup. So basically, we reduce the number of the material which goes as a waste. It's not we, it's actually McDonald's, I'm sorry. So now, basically, if we check the restaurant, the McDonald's restaurants in Regina, if you have gone to the restaurants at least once, you would have seen that you do have the waste bins. Not in all the stores, but we could find that in some of the stores they have segregated. I don't know whether they have, they are making any kind of innovation in that, but they do have separate bins available for waste disposal in the lobbies. And we also came to know from the employees that they used to segregate the waste before they dispose, from employees' point of view. And they also have a compressor. The advantage of having this compressor is that, as we saw, normally in a restaurant, the 70% of the volume is by packaging material, which can be compressed. So basically, the compressor, the benefit of using a compressor comes there. It reduces the waste volume. And now they also have waste oil collectors. So when I say waste oil collectors, it means that they're third party. So we came to know that none of these employees were completely aware about what happens to this waste oil, but they have been collected by a third party. So when some third party spends some money to collect it, definitely it goes to some use. And now we also have the solid waste. Yeah, the bad thing that we actually came to know is that though there is kind of segregation happening in these restaurants in regards to solid waste, finally they end up in the same spot. It's being collected by the municipality and directly goes to the landfill. So what we see here is a lack of franchisee interest, because basically McDonald's has some good policies, but we don't find any franchisee interest in waste management. So now, before going more critical, we should also know that what McDonald's done in positive towards waste management. They do have some good corporate waste management policies, innovative policies. So as you see, they use an eco-filter. It's a tool. It's an internal tool that is used to make packaging decisions. And they also, as I mentioned before, they use CPP for McAfee cups. They make environmental assessment for all the corporate activities. In McD US, they have this LEED certification. It's an environment-friendly certification. They have shifted to corn-based plastic. They make annual waste audit, and they have the behind the counter recycling program, diverting the solid waste. And of course, most recently, the McDonald's Canada has discovered their carbon footage. It's a good thing. Now what's the scope of improvement? If you take McDonald's globally, you will find some great innovative things happening across the globe. So that's because of the active participation of the franchisees. Internal best practices. In Middle East, you have the frying oil being used for biodiesel in trucks. In Europe, you see recycled vegetable grease used for the fuel in trucks. And then communication. You have to communicate with the customers that, yeah, there is something we are doing and you have to be a part of it. And also technological improvement. Some kind of improvements in technology will definitely make a change.